So as we've seen, and of course the theme for CDX 2.0 is navigating the digital future, and we've seen where digital has actually played a very integral role in adding an additional service delivery channel for businesses. And so we saw it very, very fitting and prudent to add a session that will talk a little bit about how you can actually go about using digital to drive sales, to convert these users and a lot of what we've spoken about before to actually build your business and to achieve specific business goals. So on the panel today, we have Mr. Mark Blakely, Vice President of Marketing and Business Development from Sagicor, who will start us off in his session, as well as Jeff Sion, Managing Director of Medulon, and Julian Hall, the online genius, but he also has a banking background, so he'll give us some feedback on the services industry and how digital actually has been used to propel business in that area. So without further ado, we'll actually start with Mr. Mark Blakely, VP of Marketing and Business Development, who will give us a little bit of an insight into Sagicor and how they have been able to be at the forefront of leveraging digital and actually add an additional service delivery channel for their business. Mark?
Thank you. Afternoon, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about our SOS mobile app, SOS standing for Sagicor On Scene, which is also an acronym for help. So it all tied in with the type of service that we do. Basically, and this is in the first world up in the United States, a recent Pew study indicates that approximately 35% of adults own a smartphone, and that 25% of those are going to be using those smartphones for a primary means of getting online business. And we expect this to actually increase. Mobile apps offer insurers a low-cost method of getting in touch with their customer base and also interacting with them. But however, if you go onto app stores like Apple App Store or even the BlackBerry App Store, you'll find out that there are not very many apps for insurance companies. Some insurers, and I'm sure you've all seen the television commercials with the pig, the flying pig, and so forth. Progressive is one that has actually launched a very innovative app. And they have launched something called VIN Capture. And if you just take a picture of the vehicle VIN number, which is the vehicle identification number, it will automatically spit back a quotation to you. And that's some of the innovative apps that are happening within the industry. What's going to drive adoption to policyholders is actually just the availability of the app, right? Having your app out there for people to use. Companies that meet the demands with an easy-to-use application, I think, are going to enjoy the competitive advantage. And there are other significant apps out there. For example, there are apps that can find an agent for you, an adjuster if you get in an accident, a loss control specialist, reporting claims such as taking pictures, uploading your accident form, sending it off to the insurance company, and producing quotes like I spoke before. And there are other types of apps. Now on to our particular app for Sagicor General. The SOS app was really born out of us listening to our customers, policyholders, who oftentimes couldn't identify where they were if they broke down or they were in an accident, and actually felt unsafe. So we took all those reports and took notice of it. We also, 3 years ago as a company, introduced the word innovative into our mission statement. And we've been living by that. So going forward, we wanted to make sure that we put some innovative products and services on the market each and every year. So those two factors together actually drove the development of this app. Most of our responses, this is before we launched the app, actually required assistance from accidents, which accounted for approximately 43% of all responses. This was followed up by people with battery problems, and then we had other issues like we were out of gas or locked my keys in the car. So we actually tracked all those different types of responses. Basically, what does the app do? If your vehicle experiences a mechanical or an electrical breakdown, the Sagicor General user-activated app allows clients to make an emergency call to our SOS Road Rescue team, right, indicating the nature of the problem. It will disclose your location. It will make the call, all at the touch of one button, okay? And here's how it really works. With one touch, your SOS app will automatically call the technician. You don't have to dial the number. It will dial the number for you. It describes the nature of your problem, and we'll go into and I'll show you how exactly it does that. It also sends out GPS coordinates from your location to the technician, right? And the app has actually allowed us to review all of these stats, and we feed that back into our risk management practice, okay? What have been the results of the launch since we launched it? Since the launch, for example, in Trinidad, we've actually seen the responses increase by 40%. Our service levels have actually improved because now we know what we're responding on, we know where the coordinates are. It helps us get to the distressed client in a quicker time. And we've allowed risk management practices to be brought right back into the underwriting experience and all back to the client. Basically, that drove the entire campaign. As you can see on our website, we say, you know where does swing right? Up top the hill, that's where I am. So our whole campaign was based around our app knows where you are, even when you don't, okay? And basically, there are a number of ways to download the app. You can download it through a barcode, scan it into your phone, and download it. You can go through our website, or you can actually go to the App Store. And our YouTube, we actually have a YouTube video that I'll let run for a little bit. It's only 5 minutes long, but I'll only run it for a little bit just so you get an idea.
Okay, this is just a demonstration of 2 ways to download Sagicor General's BlackBerry SOS app. The app is for operating systems 6 and 7. You just go to BlackBerry App World. When you get into App World, you just type the word Sagicor. And then you hit enter. And go into My World. And you select Sagicor On-Scene Variability 1 with 5 stars. So it was already installed on my phone, so I'm just going to do a reinstall. On your phone, it may say install. Okay, so the installation is complete. You can either show it on your BBM, or you can just go to open. Right, so the icon will be sitting on your desktop. It says Sagicor On-Scene. You can install the app through BlackBerry App World, or you can go to www.sagicorjournal.com. The page is optimized for BlackBerry, so you will not have any distortion.
Okay, that's the idea. And there's a funny story behind having to create the YouTube video. One thing I will say about app development is make sure you know your customer base that you're putting these apps out to. Younger generations are very affluent. They can go on, they can figure it out, no problem. 45 to 50-year-old people don't really go on and download apps with the ease of a snap. They like to be shown it step by step. So that was the reason for the app. And this came actually after we launched. After we launched, this is the sort of information that came back, and we had to create a video, in other words, to help them and show them how to download the app. So it's very important to know your customer segment and the base you're launching a particular service or product to. So I'll just jump into beyond where you saw the app being downloaded. Basically, you'll get a welcome screen that tells you you've successfully downloaded the app to your phone. And you want to go through the registration process. And basically, this is what our registration screen looks like. You're going to put in your ID number, your policy name, email address, BlackBerry mobile phone number, and policy number. And the reason why we did BlackBerry first is because the number of users having BlackBerries in both Barbados and Trinidad outweigh any other phone. Okay? So even the iPhone or the Android. And that was the reason why we went with BlackBerry. This app is actually called a super app. And the reason for that is because it has a database behind the app. And we purposefully built that database because we wanted to control who used the app and how the app was going to be used. So the customer doesn't see this side of it. And through firewalls and restricted user access, we actually have several option menus. And the SOS app was designed so that we, internally, activate the app. Once you put an app on BlackBerry or you put it up on iPhone, anybody can download an app. But if you don't want people using it, you need to have the ability to turn that app on or turn it off. This is just an example of the information we collect in the database. And when you finish all of that, you will get a screen that says you've been successfully registered. And we say 72 hours because we actually do the activation. Now when it's on your phone, you'll see a little icon, like you see up there, that says SOS, on scene. And that is what you see on all the BlackBerry phones. Once your registration is validated and your vehicle experiences a mechanical breakdown, you'll see all of these icons. And these icons represent a type of breakdown or accident. And it's information behind those that sends the message to our technicians. So we'll call the road rescue technician, describe the nature of the problem, and it will send the GPS coordinates automatically. Right? So there's an example of the GPS coordinates being sent. And there's an email address that comes to our technician telling them the GPS coordinates. So you'll say to ourselves, okay, how does longitude and latitude coordinates help us? Well, we actually put everything into a Garmin device that's on board every one of our technical vehicles, and it actually draws out a map to the stranded policyholder. And that's how we're able to find anyone when they can't describe where they are. Okay? What's next for SGI? Well, we want to continue to develop our mobile strategy. It's important you have a mobile strategy and you don't just get into developing apps because everybody else is doing it. You need to have a strategy that complements your overall strategy. Mobility is far more than having apps or smartphones or just the tablets. It's actually the technology that's going to come together, giving your ability to reach your customers or anyone at any time and anywhere. The key is understanding how it all works together. All right? And last bit of advice, if you don't do it, somebody else will, or your competitors will. And I will say we were the first general insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean to launch a mobile app. All right? And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Mark.